G, egregious games.
Right, hello. I've been seeing a lot of these tier lists lately, and I've never actually done one myself. At one point, I want to do a Metroid tier list, but before we do a Metroid tier list, I want to do just a Nintendo franchises tier list. And as you can see, I've already placed a lot of the ones that I've not played or I think are not applicable. I haven't made my own list here because it's just a lot of work. You know, why would I go through work to make my own content, you know? But really, I'll just briefly go through these. Excite Bike X, I have not played at all. I believe I've played a little bit of Punch-Out, actually. I'm going to keep Punch-Out off of this because I have actually played a tiny bit of it. Famicom Detective Club have not played. Mystery Dungeon, unfortunately haven't played, or any of the Mystery Dungeon games. Hull Deep, not played. Brain Age, Cruisin'. Bayonetta I have played, but I don't really consider it a Nintendo franchise. I'm going to keep that aside for now, because we could still rate it. Fatal Frame, nah. Mother, I have played a little bit of one of the games. I believe it was just Earthbound. And I don't feel like I've played enough to really rank it. It was only a few hours, and these are long games. So that would just be unfair to the game for me to rank it. Kid Icarus, I have not played any of. Mario vs. Donkey Kong, I have played this, but I consider this basically part of the Donkey Kong franchise. Not Donkey Kong Country, which we've got separately on here, but basically part of Donkey Kong, so my opinion will rank to that. Zelda, for whatever reason, this one has twice on here, so I've just taken one off. Mario and Sonic have not played. P-Cross, I've played P-Cross, but not Nintendo's own P-Cross games, which I'm sure are great too. I do love P-Cross, actually. So yeah, I'm just going to jump into it. And first off, I want to address there's one missing thing from this list that wasn't there, and that's Wave Race. Why the hell did none of these tier lists have Wave Race? I looked at a lot of these, but no Wave Race. So, Cull Deep Water, this is going to serve as my placeholder for Wave Race. I don't think Wave Race is an incredible franchise, but I think it deserves a place on this list. And I'm going to put it at the C list, just because, you know, I think, honestly, if I made an honest Nintendo tier list, there would be very few things below an A tier. But we're ranking this on the least exciting of Nintendo franchises, and let's be real, Wave Race is that game that you played because there weren't many other GameCube games out when the GameCube launched, so you're like, okay, I'll pick up Wave Race Blue Storm. And it was pretty fun, the graphics were beautiful, still beautiful today, I think. But let's be real, it's not up there with some of these greats. So Wave Race goes there on the C tier. Now let's start. 1080 Snowboarding. I'm actually going to put this on the C tier alongside Cull Deep. I think they're really cool games. I'm not that into Nintendo sports titles. Obviously, there's a lot of this is going to be my opinion. I think that the things were so tricky to pull off. I'm more of a fan of like freeform. Like if I'm going to play like a skateboarding game, I don't want to press a load of button combinations like I'm playing a fighting game, you know? And from what I remember, 1080 had a lot of that. I still remember it being real fun, but it wasn't my favorite franchise, and I wouldn't lament if they didn't bring back another one. Advance Wars. Okay, I'm gonna piss my friend Levi off. This is actually gonna go in the B tier. This is tough. This is like a kind of a between A and B tier game. I really like the Advance Wars games, or at least the first one I played a lot of. But like it's not an incredible series up there with some of the greats, which I'll be listing. It's limited. I did play Advance Wars 1, Advance Wars 2. I think it was the Dark Dawn was the last one I played, and that's the one where it just kind of lost me, because there's only so far you can take Advance Wars as a concept before it gets boring. If I were making the next Advance Wars, what I would do is keep the battle tactical gameplay, because that's great. Add some interesting outside of battle stuff. Like, you know, do what Total War or Heroes of Might and Magic are doing, where you're capturing places on like a world map. Now that would be really interesting instead of just sequential levels. That could make Advance Wars an A or even an S tier. But let's move on. Animal Crossing. I love this franchise. Animal Crossing is real fun. But for me, it's somewhere between a B and a C tier, because it's limited. The latest one to come out was absolutely great in terms of the amount of content, but Animal Crossing is something you either love or you're just kind of ambivalent about. And I'm kind of ambivalent about it. So I'm going to have to be honest, and I'm going to put it in the C tier. You know, if you love it, you love it. Art Academy. See, I feel almost bad now. I should have put another tier, because this it shouldn't really go in the same tier as these others. But Art Academy, let's be real, it's a paint program. I did play it. I say play it, I used it a little bit. But it's going to go at the very bottom of the C tier. Mario Baseball. This I actually have not played, so slapping it in there. Donkey Kong. These are actually really solid platformers even today. I played the Game Boy version of these. Obviously, it was originally an arcade game, I want to say. I'm not that old, and my history is a bit off. But man, these are solid B games. I really like, and again, I need to emphasize that this is I have to put some things in the C and the B tiers, but there's gonna be a very crowded A tier of these franchises, I feel. Donkey Kong Country. I'm gonna have to put this in the A tier. Despite me not being a huge platformer fan, these days, Donkey Kong Country really set the bar for platformers. It really just is an incredible platforming series. It doesn't hit S tier because for me, it's just a platforming game. And it doesn't do anything transcendent with the series. I should say, I have not played the two newer games. I've not played Donkey Kong Country Returns or Tropical Freeze, which everyone effuses about. I would like to play them, but, you know, they're expensive. So if you want me to play them and review them, send me money and say this is for Donkey Kong Country Returns or Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, and I will play them. But I'm not willing to drop, 40, 50 quid on something that's just a platformer. Don't hey, I'm just not that big of a 2D platformer fan. But I think I'm going to go off list to say Mario, Super Mario, S tier. Because, you've got the classics, you've got Super Mario Bros. 1, 2, and 3. Fantastic games, each very different. I think I would have to say, controversially, 2 is sort of my favorite, even though it's not a proper Mario game of those 3, because it's just so fun. But if 3 is also amazing, and it is a very tight competition with that. I just have, honestly, for me, it's just nostalgia around 2 because I played a lot of 2, but I think 3 is probably the better game. But you also have Super Mario World, which is fucking incredible. Probably my first Mario game, I want to say, that I played a lot of. I remember getting a SNES. I was like 10 or probably younger than that. I was probably like 5 years old, and I remember playing the shit out of Mario World. I remember loving Yoshi. You get a cute little green dinosaur. And ever since then, I've always played Yoshi. And let's go even further, because then we get into the 3D, we get Mario fucking 64, Mario Sunshine, Mario Galaxies, and fucking Super Mario Odyssey. Let's be real, this is an S tier franchise. You cannot knock the Super Mario Brothers franchise. You just can't. And for me personally, best in the whole franchise, I gotta say, it's gonna be Mario Galaxy, the original Mario Galaxy. What a fantastic game. Mario Galaxy 2 discarded the lovely big unlockable light up hub world, and that's part of the reason it doesn't get as high for me. But some people really love 2, and that's great. Anyway, moving on, Punch-Out. I've only played a little bit of this briefly, so I don't know if this should really go in the haven't played folder here. But I've played a little bit, and it's going to go into the C tier because it's not... It's in front of Art Academy, but it's a really, really basic game. It's like dodge, punch, fun little arcade game. Don't get me wrong. But there are things on this list that just... You can't put Punch-Out in the same category as Advance Wars or Donkey Kong Country, you know? So Dr. Mario. This is also going to be a C tier for me. I like Dr. Mario. It's a fun, cute little puzzle game, but again, it's quite simple and it's a distraction. I'm going to put it... I'm not like ordering all of these really, but just for myself, I'm putting this... Let's do a little bit of ordering here. 1080, Wave Race. So at the top of the C, we've got Animal Crossing here. And then Dr. Mario. Fire Emblem is a fantastic series. It's not always been transcendent, but this is a solid... This is a solid A tier for me. I think that's a good place for it. Great franchise. It can be a frustrating franchise to play at times. And I gotta admit, as much as I love the ideas behind it, I bounced off Three Houses pretty hard pretty early on. Because a lot of them just lead into kind of tedium. And I think a lot of people who are fans of the Fire Emblem series these days are kind of, they just like the character designs a lot. They buy it for the character designs. Sorry, not sorry. Let's move on before I get serious hate. F-Zero. I really like this franchise, and I really want Nintendo to revive it. This is a B tier for me. One of the few racing games that I'm interested in. I would take this over Wave Race. I would take this over Mario Kart. F-Zero is just super fun. Even though it's not going that fast in literalness, it gives you that feeling of intense speed, like a crazy pod race. And I think it might be my favorite racing game. It's probably not. I could probably think of one I prefer more given time, but certainly of what I've seen here. Game & Watch. This is going to have to go in, I think, the not applicable category. Although I've played a few of them, I've not played enough of them. I don't really think that necessarily counts as a franchise. It's more of a medium, you know? I don't think Game & Watch... It's a bunch of mini games, and they're cool, but I'm not going to put them in the same category as these other things. Golden Sun. I love Golden Sun. I was going back and listening to some of the music in preparation for this video because I want to put some of the music in the background, and damn, some of that music slaps. Great RPGs, and it's not just a great battle system, it's great exploration. You get to use your psychic abilities out in the field to like move trees and solve puzzles. Fantastic series. I'm bordering on putting it on S tier. Yeah, fuck it. I'm putting it in S tier, man. With Golden Sun. It might not be as up there with some of my other S tier picks, but it's a goddamn amazing franchise. Mario Golf. I actually have not played. I would like to play the new one, but I have not played this series. Kirby. Oh, my little lizard, he's eating greens. Kirby. I mean, I think, man, like Kirby Superstar alone really skews this placement. If I had to put just Kirby Superstar up here, it would be an S tier. Kirby is an S tier series. Kirby is an S tier series because you get to create, you get to like swap all of these power-ups. You get all these cool powers and abilities, and then you get to like play it co-op with your friends. What's not to love? That was my biggest complaint with Forgotten Land. That I played the demo and realized, you know, it's co-op, but your partner only gets to be Spear Waddle Dee or Bandana Waddle Dee. You don't get all the powers. That brought it down for me. That could have knocked it down to an A tier. But let's be real. You can't knock the Kirby. You just can't knock the Kirby. He's an S tier game. He goes in the S tier. Luigi's Mansion. I have only played the first Luigi's Mansion, so this might not be a fair placement. I really liked the game. Fantastic gameplay. Very short, but very sweet. So this is for me verging between A and B tier. Perhaps unfairly, because I haven't played the other games, I'm gonna put it in B tier. But it's a very high B tier. You know, Advance Wars is in B tier, F-Zero and Donkey Kong are in B tier. This is not a weak tier by any means. This is not the C tier. This is for Nintendo franchises. Mario and Luigi. Well, this has got to go in A tier for me. I'm going to put it below Fire Emblem. But this is a fantastic franchise. Some people like this more than Paper Mario. I really like them. I wish they would release. I think, are they releasing some of these on Switch now? Because they should be. Yeah, no, they haven't released these games on Switch yet, which is a real shame. I thought Bowser's Inside Story might have gotten the release, but that was the 3DS re-release. Real shame, because that Bowser's Inside Story is the one that I haven't finished, I want to say. I think I completed most of the second game. But great series. I would love to see more RPGs just like Mario and Luigi. My lizard's been very noisy. Next up, Mario Bros. I'm not going to put this separately to the Mario series. I'm assuming they're talking about like the original arcade games, which was more of a versus game. They were alright, but I don't think that they deserve to be on this list. You know, I'm up with things like Metroid and, you know, Paper Mario. Mario Kart. Now this is going to be controversial. I know this already. But I'm just not that big of a fan of Mario Kart games. For me, it goes below F-Zero in the B tier. I think these games are fun when you've got your casual, normie friends around for multiplayer. Always have a Mario Kart, but they get pretty boring for me. I haven't played one seriously since Double Dash, which brought in that necessary extra vivre for me to enjoy it. But ever since then, they've kind of brought it back because people didn't like the extra layer of complexity. They didn't like the innovation. And I think for me, that was the last time that the Mario Kart series really tried something fun and interesting and out there. And since then, like, they've just been like greatest hits Mario Kart, you know, classic. Don't try too hard, be boring, because you need to appeal to regular folks. Super Mario Maker, I have not played this. It looks pretty awesome from what I've seen of Donkey's videos, for instance, but I have not played it, and I cannot rate it fairly. Mario Party. Now, I love this series, but it hasn't always been quality, has it? No. This series has had some serious ups and downs, and even in the newest game, which is fantastic, there's some mini games that are just like jank, or like there's absolutely nothing to them. And I'm like, if this is the best of, you're still gonna put these jank mini games in here? Come on. Mario Party goes in the B tier. With some other fantastic games, not because I don't love the series, but because it's admittedly like not the best quality game series. Now we get to the good shit. Metroid. You all know how I feel about Metroid. Metroid goes in the S tier. And you'll notice here that we've got a separation between Metroid and Metroid Prime. Let's just get them both out of the way, because let's be obvious, they're both S tier franchises. I consider them one and the same for the most part, but let's go into each. I'm not a fan of the original NES Metroid. I have tried many times to complete it, but it is a fucking painful game to play in this day and age. But every other Metroid game that I have played, which is all of them except Federation Force and Samus Returns for the 3DS. I've played the Game Boy version of it. I've played all of them. They're all fantastic, and I will go into my own tier list of the Metroid games in a separate video. Does Metroid go before Metroid Prime trilogy? Yes, it does. As much as some of the Metroid Prime games could well be at the top of my list if I ranked them individually. It's, you know, this Metroid, it includes Metroid Fusion, it includes Metroid Dread, and as incredible as the Prime series is, in fact, we've got to put this in order, right? So, you know, Metroid is top of my S tier, currently. Nintendo, I don't know what the fuck this icon is meant to be, so we're just going to put it over here. Would it include things like Wii Sports, perhaps? Have we got a Wii Sports or Switch Sports in here? Let's call this the Wii Sports and the Switch Sports shovelware category, and let's put it in C. They're not shovelware, that's being unfair. I would even put them below Animal Crossing, because some of those games were pretty fun. But it's not, you know, it's not transcendent. I keep using that word, but what I'm trying to describe there is, you know, a game that really goes next level and makes your brain light up with new ideas and really cool stuff. Does something cool and interesting. Whoops. You have to cut that out. Spoilers there. Elite Beat Agents, and by extension, the Ouendan series. I've not played Ouendan, but I have played Elite Beat Agents, and this is a fantastic rhythm game. I love it. Elite Beat Agents goes in the B tier between these two. I played a lot of Elite Beat Agents back in the day. Unfortunately, a lot of these old games that are only on the handheld games, I've gotten old and my hands can't handle staring. My eyes and my hands are old. I can't be staring at a tiny little screen anymore. And it is hard to play those games these days. It's a tiny little tapping. 3DS would be easier, but I would really like for them to re-release some of these games on the Switch. Okay, now we get to the real shit. Well, you know, Metroid was real, but Paper Mario. Man, the only question here is whether Paper Mario goes before or after Metroid. That's how much I love the Paper Mario games. There is so much creativity, so much fun, and it's like one of, if not the best RPG series I've ever played. Upgrades feel choice-driven and like chunky. You go from 1 damage to 2 damage. That's huge. It's not like 117.5 damage like in other RPGs. You're not getting plus 5% equipping all these crappy little plus 5% damage, plus 5% magic damage, plus 3% range damage. No, you get 1 goes to 2 on Mario's hammer or his jump, and you get cool and interesting sidekicks with their own unique abilities and upgrades that feel meaningful, that matter. I should say that I'm basing this on the first 2 Paper Mario games. I played very little, well, I played not all of Super Paper Mario, and I haven't played Sticker Star or the ones since. I should probably give them the time of day, but there are so many games coming out these days, so many more games, but I haven't had a chance to yet. Nonetheless, Paper Mario is an S-tier franchise. Moving on to Pikmin. Pikmin is really, really fun. I really like Pikmin. A lot of creative ideas there. I haven't finished Pikmin 3. I want to say there's only Pikmin 1, 2, and 3. I don't think they've released any since. Really love those games. I'm going to say A tier. Bottom of the A tier. But incredible games. And I never regret my time spent in those games. Pilot Wings. I've actually not played the series. I don't think. It's a classic Nintendo franchise. I really feel like that's one I should play. You know, they always talked about it in the Nintendo magazines back in the day, Pilot Wings 64. I love piloting and aviation games. Spoilers, but Pilot Wings I need to play. Pokemon. Now, I was mulling this over yesterday when I was thinking about making this tier list, because Pokemon is I want to put Pokemon in the B tier because it's been so uninnovative throughout a majority of the series. Red came out, they made huge leaps forward into Gold and Silver. Ruby and Sapphire were still fun and fresh, and then the next few were just kind of like, they didn't really change much, just very, very small, mostly cosmetic iterations. And I just wasn't a fan past that. But let's be real, it started from such a good base, and that's why they didn't have to change much. Pokemon is still an A-tier franchise. And to their credit, they have started innovating again, because I include things like Pokken in this, because Pokken it's still part of the Pokemon franchise. Pokken was really fun. I spent a lot of time playing that. It was just a really fun, creative fighting game where the characters weren't all just, normal humans, waddling back and forth and doing little jabs. No, these motherfuckers were monsters with energy attacks and flame attacks and all kinds of, even the close-up fighters were real cool. I played Weavile, I want to say, in that game. And it's just a super agile little weasel fighter, which was awesome. Puzzle League, have not played. Rhythm Heaven, have not played. Super Smash Brothers. Now the list is real. Super Smash Bros. We know this is going to be high, right? Because I'm not an idiot. Super Smash Bros. Goes at the top of the S tier. Because as much as I love Metroid, Super Smash Bros. Is a legendary franchise, a legendary series. It's probably the best fighting game series there is, in my opinion. And I really like fighting games. But, people knocked on Brawl, but I still played the shit out of Brawl. I played the shit out of every single Smash Brothers game. Probably the one that I've played the least is the Switch one. Just because I've already played the shit out of this franchise. But I still got a lot of hours in it. And if someone wants to play a fighting game with me, if someone wants to throw down, we're bringing out Smash Bros. What more can be said? Next up, we have Splatoon. And I've not played Splatoon 2. I kind of didn't like that they closed the game service for Splatoon 1 so fast. I was one of those few people that bought a Wii U, and I felt so burned when the Switch came out that I didn't buy a Switch for 2 years. It also obviously had to just do with money. But that's an aside. Splatoon, from the one game that I played, is a really fun game. This would go at the bottom of the A or at the top of the B tier. I'm going to put it in the B tier next to Advance Wars here. I still feel bad putting Advance Wars here in this B tier. It's at the top of the B tier. Splatoon, really fun game, really innovative. I'm not a huge fan of shooting games, but if you make it into a game where you can travel through the floors by turning into a squid, and the game is about painting the walls and all of this other strategy instead of just bang, bang, reload, bang, bang, hide behind thing, respawn. Dude, Splatoon is so much more fun than other shooting games. Even like Overwatch. I think I would put Splatoon, there's a reason I'm a Nintendo fan. I don't like the traditional stuff. I like innovation. I worship at the shrine of innovation. This list is actually looking more balanced than I thought it would. I thought this would be very A-tier heavy. But this is going well. But let's change that up a bit. Starfox. Starfox is a great franchise. And I was debating this one as well earlier. But Star Fox 64 is still such a great game. It was very short, but there was so much going on in it. So many hidden paths, so many branches and little things to find. So much replayability. To this day, I don't think I got everything in Starfox 64. I didn't get all of the trophies, although I tried. There have been some games in the series that haven't been quite so great. I liked the adventure game, Star Fox Adventures. Not up there with Zelda, but I thought it was a pretty solid game for the time. One of the underrated games that I really liked was Star Fox Assault for the GameCube. That game let you jump out of the Star Wing and run around on foot, and that felt like the evolution of the series that I wanted. It let you kind of have a few more open stages where there was a bit more choice, a bit less on rails, and that's what I'd always wanted for the Star Fox series. Star Fox Assault is still kind of my top Star Fox game. But then we got Command, which was fun. I enjoyed it, but obviously limited by being a DS game. And then we got Star Fox Zero, which I've not played, but I have seen a fair bit of analysis on it, and it's a shame that it didn't get the polish that it deserved. And it's a shame because it's Miyamoto's last major project that I'm aware of. These days, I feel like they kind of trot him out to give advice and things, but I don't know how active Miyamoto realistically is in the development of games. But it seemed like he was fairly involved in Zero. But maybe he's not aware that kids these days they care more about polish and quality of life than innovation, which is something that I lament. I wish I could play the games and sort of judge it for myself, but again, cash, Skrilla. Yeah, it is a shame. It is a shame, and I would love to see a return to form for Star Fox. But yeah. Star Fox goes in the bottom of the A tier. I just spent a long time talking about that without actually placing it. Yeah, bottom of the A tier. In fact, no, Star Fox goes right here. Goes right there. I'm a big fan of flight games, and Star Fox is one of the best I've played, up there with, maybe not quite up there with Rogue Squadron and the Star Wars flight games. Now, something more topical, Super Mario Strikers. As mentioned in the other video, I think I've only played one of these, and I can never remember which one it was. But from what I played of Strikers, it was a really fun Mario sports game. One of my favorite Mario sports games, which, as you can probably guess from this list, this is going to be going in the B tier. I'm just deciding where it goes in this B tier. I mean, I think realistically it goes at the bottom, and I'd probably put Donkey Kong just above that. Because it's a really fun, solid game, but it's not up there with some of the rest of the Nintendo franchises, right? Super Mario All-Stars. Why are we putting this separate? I've already gone over Mario games. Mario Tennis. This, like Strikers, goes in the B tier because I love tennis. But it's now I feel bad. If I've put Animal Crossing in the C tier, I feel like I need to put this up. Yeah. I feel like I need to crowd the B tier a bit more. I'm shifting some of these around. I'm putting Animal Crossing here, because I'm looking at this now and thinking how, like, I've loved these games, but I've played Animal Crossing more than most of these games. You know, realistically, it's a game that fits into a day-to-day life well. You can play Animal Crossing on the bus. You can play it whenever you're too tired to play a real game. You know, you just run around and pick up some weeds and talk to some villagers. It's crazy that they made it work, a game that everyone would have rejected. Animal Crossing is just so good. Trace Memory. This is a real weird one to find on this tier list, because it's like one of these games. And I want to say there's some other, like there's Hotel Dusk, which you could consider part of the same franchise. It's by the same developer, I want to say. But it's like, I played it, and it was cool, but is it a franchise? I wouldn't say so. If I was going to put it up here, I'd probably put it in the B tier. but I don't consider it really a Nintendo first-party franchise, same as Bayonetta. But while we're here, you know, let's go over Bayonetta, because I'm not going to put it in any of these, but if I was going to, if it was a Nintendo first-party franchise, I think it would go. It's got to be S tier. I think if it was going to be up here, it would go at the bottom of the S tier, or just above Kirby. I think I would put it here, but it ain't going there. What else did I not rank that could possibly be ranked up there? I think that's it for games I've actually played in this category. So what else? Pokémon TCG. This is another very odd one to find on this list. I do not consider this a franchise. There's only one of them, right? Yeah, I looked it up. There was only one. I don't think that makes a franchise necessarily. If I did have to rank it, it was a really solid, fun game. I would put it in the B tier. And I would put it higher if the game was longer and had more choices involved. But I really love the shit out of that game, and I don't know why they haven't made more of those, because I think it sold well. Probably because it would cut into the sales of the actual cards. But if they released another one, I would play the shit out of that. I would buy that. Wario Land. I feel like I've played a little bit of these at some point in my life, but I don't have enough memory of them to play them. I think I've barely played them. I really wanted to get the 3D one, Wario World. Friends will know that I was like making a rant on Facebook about, you need to re-release some of these titles on Switch because I want to play Wario. Yeah. They should do that so that I can play them, because they look like fun, silly games. I like the concept that Wario is invincible. Kind of like Yoshi's Island, which we'll be getting to. WarioWare. This is a very hard one to rank. WarioWare games are fun, but in my experience, brief and short-lived. I played one of them, probably the first or the second, very extensively. And they're a pretty awesome franchise, I'm going to be real. Do I follow my gut and put it in the A tier above even things like this? Above even Advance Wars? I'm almost thinking about pushing Advance Wars up now. But I'm not going to. But I am going to put WarioWare in the A tier. Just barely above Advance Wars. Because they are so cool and unique and so full of ideas in every game. There's all these unique ideas, and it suits my ADHD brain so much more than Advance Wars, because it's just, you know, I love the way the minigames speed up rapidly. I love the way they remix them all. I was only able to play the demo for the new one, but from what I played, it was really fun still. And if I had the money to just buy all the games I wanted to buy, I would absolutely buy the shit out of the latest WarioWare. But anyway, Xenoblade Chronicles. This is not a Nintendo franchise. Again, a lot of people are putting this in these tier lists. I do not consider it a Nintendo franchise. It's been on Nintendo consoles, so, you know, fair enough. It's more of a Nintendo franchise than Bayonetta, because Bayonetta is straight up third party. It's been on multiple consoles, with the exception of 2 and now 3. Xenoblade Chronicles, I think, has only been on the Nintendo consoles, but I want to say the rest of the series. This is stemmed from Xenogears. Look, Xenogears, Xenosaga. These are like PS1 games, PS2 games. I even played Xenosaga, and just like Xenoblade Chronicles 2, it was very much a weeb game that relied on character designs, I think, to draw people in. But there's a lot of these, you know, you talk about Final Fantasy and some of these classic RPGs. Yes, they're very Japanese. Yes, they're a little bit anime. But then you get into the real weeb games, and I count all the Xeno games as in that category, because you look at the fucking character design for Cosmos, and then you look at, like, Look at Xenoblade Chronicles 2, the character designs. This game's the real weeb shit. Anyway, if I did consider it a Nintendo franchise, where would I put it based on the one that I played a little bit of, Xenoblade Chronicles X? I'd probably put it in A or... No, for me it would be a B tier. Because, like, this could have been an incredible Sublime game. This game could have been S tier. And then they brought in the fucking annoying kid characters and the annoying little monster cat thing characters. It's like, I don't have a problem with little cute cat things, but don't make them a main character so I have to constantly put up with them. Make them a sidekick, you know? I don't want to put up with that shit in video games. I can't handle it. You build up this serious sci-fi world, like hard sci-fi. We've come here from another planet. We've barely survived. And then you make 50% of the dialogue from like bratty, annoying kid characters. Like they've always got to do like the 15-year-old genius hacker girl, which is, you know, let's not even get into that shit here. Why people like those characters so much, and then you get the fucking cats, the weird cat things. And based on what I've seen of Xenoblade Chronicles 2, I really don't want to play it. They had a gacha to that shit. They had a gacha to a single player game. My friend keeps telling me, my friend Killjoy keeps telling me it's not really that bad. It's not that bad. It's not that bad. You'll love it. And I'm like, maybe one day. But before I do, I want to play the remastered version of Xenoblade Chronicles, which does look good. It does look really good, and less of a weeby, silly world, more of a serious. You know, they've got giant fucking mecha gods. Okay, Xenoblade Chronicles, the original, really has my interest. I just haven't had the time to play it. Moving on, spent a lot of time on that. Yoshi's Island, and I will bundle in Yoshi's Story. Really solid games, particularly Yoshi's Island. I played a lot of Yoshi's Story back in the day. He was sort of my favorite Mario character. I'm gonna put... Because I'm bundling in Yoshi's Story, if this was just Yoshi's Island, this could very possibly go in the A tier. But because it's just the Yoshi's franchise, I'm putting this in B tier. I'm putting this, I'm gonna put this right here. Look, I really like Elite Beat Agents. Okay, I think that's fair. And finally, last but not least, we get to Zelda. Now, it's just funny that this happened to come up last because it's alphabetical. That was not deliberate. But it's unfair. Like obviously, this goes in the S tier, right? And obviously, it goes at the top of the S tier. But, like, I've seen people put Zelda in B tier. B tier. You fools. You wretch. Zelda, not only does Zelda go at the top of the S tier, Zelda gets the Zelda tier. Because Zelda is one of the series that has continually innovated in all game franchises. This is the reason this franchise is still going, still alive. Like, yes, it got a bit boring there in the GameCube era. I think that the least innovation was had with Twilight Princess. And to a lesser extent, Wind Waker and Skyward Sword. But these games are like, just, they never rest on their laurels. And every game is a top tier game. You know, you can make arguments that some of them like Phantom Hourglass maybe wasn't S tier. You could even say that it was only a B tier game. But then you got fucking Spirit Tracks. You got, man, I think I'm gonna have to make a whole separate video for Zelda games, because Zelda games are bloody incredible. And then you just had Breath of the Wild come along and blow every other video game that's ever been made out of the water. This is how you do an open world, motherfucker. It inspired everyone, and now everyone's trying to copy it, but nobody can because it's fucking Nintendo. And they always get there first because they take the risks. So Zelda goes in the Zelda tier. End of story. So, that is my list. Had fun doing this, and I'm pretty happy with these rankings. Going over some of them, I don't think I would change these. But yeah, I saw some of these lists, and I felt like I had to correct them. This is the definitive, only correct list. These opinions are objective. In fact, it's not even opinion. I was just channeling the power of my lizard friend Dende to channel pure truth and objectivity out there. But that's all for this. If you disagree with this list, of course, put your comments below. I would love to have a bit of discussion around here, even though we've established that I'm objectively correct in all of this, and there's no room for negotiation. But I'll still hear your opinions. I like to hear where other people are wrong. And if you like this video, if you like this kind of silly content, do click subscribe. Mostly I do, obviously video essays, but I say that I do a lot of experimental content. I do dumb memes, I do reviews, I do all kinds of shit, as you can see from the video. So I will leave that with you. I'm gonna enjoy the rest of this sunny day. Have a wonderful rest of your day.